Okay.
So have you had any experience in Hollow Earth yourself?
Of course.
Okay, what is that like? I just to give you an example, one of the reasons why I didn't believe this is because I couldn't
Uh-huh.
grasp the physics of it. But as I started studying it, it started making more sense that it's it's the crust of the earth that creates gravity. So the people on the
Yes.
outside of the planet experience the gravity down to the center of the crust, and the people on the inside of the planet experience the gravity from the inside of the crust to the center. So then I realized
Yes.
that they're standing upright all the way around the center of the earth, the way we're standing upright all the way around the surface of the planet. So it started
Yep.
making more sense. So what
Of
was it
course.
like for you to be there? And why did you come back?
Well, like I said, I came back because I had to, but believe me, I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I wanted to stay there. Um, but also, you have to understand that uh, the hollow Earth is fifth dimensional. You can go there physically, but your body will be changed when you enter. It changes from, in Admiral Byrd's case, it changed from the third to the fifth dimension as his aircraft entered into the North Polar opening. Um, when you go into the North Polar opening, halfway around the North Polar opening, everything changes. Your your density lightens. Your body begins to feel tingly and like a like a tingling sensation. And then as you continue going around into the hollow earth, your body changes. You will discover that when you do this, that your body begins to feel, how do you put it, exhilarated, energized. Wow, it's hard to explain, but you, but when you go inside, your body changes from the third dimension into a fifth dimensional body, which is much lighter than what you have on the surface. When they brought me and my sister to the surface, our body had to basically phase down to the third dimension in order to live, in order to remain up here. Um, and it's the same if you went inside. You couldn't remain in the fifth dimensional existence unless your body was permanently changed. Understand?
Right. Hey, explain
It,
something. I'm sure this is a question that viewers are that are watching right now, they would want me to
yes.
ask. But what is the
Yes.
apparatus that you put on your head, and what's that for?
Oh. Okay. This is a crystal headband, and the crystal headband is for to help you focus your energy. Um, it's very health. When you put it on, you if you have headaches and stuff like this, they're gone. If you have, uh, it opens up your third eye, if you will. As you can see, it's centered right over my third eye. Um, it opens up your third eye. It causes your subconscious and conscious minds to think alike or think as one. And when you go into meditate, you go into meditation real quick, and you can go in. You can intergalactically, as well as long distance. Well, intergalactic is pretty long distance, but but you other people have them on and wearing them, and are used to wearing them. They can't communicate with each other telepathically
Right.
because you were born with the ability to communicate telepathically at birth. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but it makes sense. I mean,
Yes,
I spent most of my early childhood of people telling me, no, you can't do that. No, don't do that. Sit down. Go here. I was
of course.
indoctrinated so heavily living
Yes.
in West
Yes.
by God, Virginia, that actually
Uh-huh.
I was kicked out of Sunday school when I was 6 because I asked too many questions. And the question that came up is, when I first went to Sunday school, they started teaching us Genesis. And the Sunday school teacher was saying that God was well pleased, his creation was perfect. And I'm thinking, well, okay, yeah, there's a God. I readily accepted the fact that there was some kind of God, and it's good that he's really pleased with me. But the next Sunday when I went back, he tried to drown us all. And I'm thinking as a young kid, whoa, wait a minute here. This doesn't sound quite too good, you know? And so I was kicked out of Sunday school for asking too many questions. But now I'm older now, and I'm still asking questions.
Oh yeah. Well, see, when I was I was in school, I got in trouble a lot because I would always ask questions. And we were in science class one day, and the science teacher was talking about the makeup of the Earth, the crust, and all this. And then he says, are there any questions? He should not have asked that question because I raised my hand, and he should never have allowed me to take the floor because I blew his mind away. I got up and I said, why are you lying to us? And he looked at me and he goes, what? I says, why are you lying to us? Lying to you? What are you talking about? I said, you know as well as I do that the earth is not solid, that it is hollow, and it has a central sun that shines out through the polar openings off of ice crystals called crystalline, which creates the halo of light that you term the northern lights.
So
Go to the principal's office.
How old were you then? How old were you?
I was like, well, let's see, maybe 9 or 10, maybe.
So tell me, Billy, tell me about your physical birth. How did that transpire?
In the hollow earth, your physical birth is you're created out of thought. Thought is the creator. Thought always is. And as you think, you are. My guardians or my parental figures, they came together and they wanted to create a life form, another, a child. So they basically sat down, agreed upon it, and it was done. I was conceived, and upon my birth, 3 months compared to 9 months on the surface. So they developed quite rapidly, which is what they were, what they used to. Pregnancy on the surface used to be 3 months as well, but way back in the ancient times. But all that changed after the submission of religion. But anyway, it's 3 months in the interior, and when I was born basically as a toddler, not as a baby.
Right. So how did you end up getting up here to the surface?
Well, that was quite interesting. I was out frolicking in the forest, and enjoying myself, and my guardian, my mother, parent figure, called me in and said, you need to go to the learning center. So I went to the learning center, and they told me, they said, we would like you and your sister to go on a mission. And we asked what the mission was. The mission was to go to the surface. I'd always thought about the surface, but I had not really hadn't been there, of course. But I said, well, what are we going to be doing? He says, you're going to be raised as a surface world family. That you'll be adopted, and you will grow up, and at the right time, you will start your mission. I said, okay, what's the mission? They said, we had an entity here from the surface. He was a noble character by the name of Admiral Byrd. He was a military officer, and he visited here, and we gave him a message to relay to his surface world. He was silenced. He was shut down. They would not allow him to give forth a message out of fear, and when they realized that there was a hollow earth and that we existed, they were shut down, put it under a tight secrecy act. So your mission will be to relay that message. And so I said, okay, I'm game. Why not? Let's do it. So my sister and I agreed, and we were taken to the surface by aeroship. They are circular in pattern, about 150 feet in diameter, 45 feet high, and they are similar to the ones that Bob Lazar described, and then brought us to the surface. We were deposited and left in on top of with the lid off of a litter barrel, wrapped in a baby blanket or toddler blanket, and deposited in this receptacle, me and my sister together. So we were brought down from the fifth dimensional existence to the third dimensional existence, which felt quite strange to us, but we were still there. The craft left the ground and hovered in a cloud above the park until we were discovered. We were discovered by a maintenance worker and policewoman who came over, saw us lying on top of the garbage, picked us up, and took us to immediately turned us over to Child Protective Services of Wichita Falls, Texas. That was the city we came out on. We were taken to the Child Protective Services. From that point, the next morning, we were taken to a county orphanage, also in Wichita County, of Wichita Falls, Texas, where we remained until we were adopted. When we got there, we were quarantined right away. Pardon me, my immune system's starting to fail here. That's another reason I have to go home. So we were in quarantine, and we were listening to a radio, and we were watching a little round tubed square box that looked like it had a glass, round glass thing on it. I guess that was a TV set because we saw images in it, Jack Benny and a few other people. We learned the language from that point. At the time we came to the surface, we did not speak verbally. We communicated telepathically to each other, and we also didn't quite understand their language, so we had to learn it. So we learned it in quarantine. After quarantine, they put us in general population, where the kids were, and we remained silent for a long time. They gave us a pad and pencil to write our wants and desires. They figured that we didn't talk and couldn't, that we were, mute, couldn't talk because we weren't talking. But to each other, we were communicating from mind to mind. We were twins, so we could do it quite easily. Twins on the surface could do the same thing. They could communicate from mind to mind, and they do it quite often. If you talk to twins, they'll affirm the fact that they can communicate with each other through the minds.
So where's your sister right now?
She's back in the Hollow Earth.
Yeah.